in. We need more. That's roll number 7.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you say that, Papa Smithy, because here we are. Champ Select is upon us for this gorgeous Valentine's Day. Thank you so much for being our Valentine today, LCK fans. And we have a present for you. We gave you a present. Not only the flowers, but also a best of 3 between DWG Gaming and
you know what?
Freecs.
We got an even better present. Karma was banned.
Oh, heck yes. Freecs also having to do the classic thing against DAMWON as the Vladimir has hit the bench as well.
And this has actually reminded me of how Rebels Anarchy in 2015 started to lose success. If you guys don't know, they went on to become Afreeca Freecs and Humble Life. This was Mickey and Sangyun and Snowflower. The strategy to beat this team, this big up-and-comers, quickly became just kind of ban all of Mickey's champions, and the team couldn't compensate for his carry potential going away when Twisted Fate and Zed were banned. In this meta, so far, if you ban away 5, 6 champions, whatever you can, from the top lane, if you see a ban from DWG, say an Urgot ban, and then you ban 5 top laners, you're banning away DWG Gaming's path for victory. Now, it's more pronounced on the red side, when you can overall last pick a Vladimir, which we do see banned here.
Yeah.
But on the blue side, just opt into top lane bans, and so far, DWG Gaming haven't really found a route to success.
Well, at the moment, they're not going to look to do that through the mid lane, as Lysandra is going to be banned away. Freecs, do they ban the Urgot? The answer is no, as Cassiopeia still left available and is going to be taken off the board, and you wouldn't want that to go into the hands of Noguri either, as Silas going to be first picked once again. The priority on this guy has been absolutely absurd, and we saw him punished yesterday twice in a row in the both picks we saw.
And Keen could definitely consider a Fiora, which we loved as a lane counter, but of course, you would imagine DAMWON would try to get a flexible mid laner and then try to play for lane assignment through that. Silas can definitely go into the mid lane and has been considered in the jungle with Aftershock as well. Canyon can be a mad scientist himself, so we'll wait and see on lane assignment. Now, remember that when we really kind of derided SKT for first picking Silas, that was with Karma, Ezreal, lots of meta abusers of the Frostmancy also available.
Wow.
Those aren't available here. And Afreeca actually just respond with a power bot lane. They've got to recognize support this time. Jelly's playing, and Thresh and Callista. Definitely no bones about where these two are going. They're going bot.
Yep, exactly right. But the classic counter in the Nocturne is still available if Canyon wants to snap that one up, and I have a feeling that the Afreeca Freecs know that that is a possibility. Tahm Kench still left on the board and will be taken away, as Canyon looking to go back to an old favorite. 20 seconds to go. Will the Kha'Zix actually be opted in for? And I don't like it being picked this early on, as the bottom lane's going to be rounded out and the Ashe picked up alongside that Tahm Kench. So the classic Gen G bottom lane is going to be employed here by DWG Gaming. The Afreeca Freecs wondering which patch they're on here, as the Galio is being hovered for the moment.
I think the champion is fine. It also kind of backs up the hard engage identity that Thresh and Callista pose. I know, obviously, my counterpart LS is really down.
He's very vocal about the old Galio, yes.
He has extremely strong opinions about balance, where sometimes I echo them and sometimes I'm not quite on the board. I think after the revert on his E, yes, Q does less damage, but Galio is still reliable, and Korean teams have always loved reliable engage. Seems like engage is the identity here. Now, you imagine best friend Camille. Feels like that Valentine's Day is going to go unrequited. It will actually be banned away.
Yeah.
Camille top lane for Keen. It's one of his old favorites. In fact, the first champion I took notice of for Keen was when he played top lane Camille against Shy when he was on the Rocks Tigers. When he debuted on Ever 8 Winners in 2017, he just really mechanically outplayed Shy on the day and heralded the upcoming of what has become the Korean representative top laner. The jungle position, it's not so strong right now. You can consider it. It's banned away anyway. And right now, seems like Dread might be going for a Canyon favorite here. He is our resident Kha'Zix player after all.
Yeah, exactly. He was hovering it earlier on as well, as the Freecs thinking about denying it away. Still a lot on the table, though, as Lee Sin is currently getting hovered, but I'd love the Jarvan. Having that cataclysmic entrance is certainly a fantastic way to start a fight.
An oldie but a goodie, a replacement for Camille, like for like. You don't have the guarantee that one person's life is over, but you do have, if flashes are down, Ashe is going to definitely be looking for a Devour as fast as possible. But with the picks here, we're picking for power. Lee Sin, and it's not Clid for once. We see Lee Sin coming from Canyon, a fallback for him, and Nuclear going for the Galio, so they're feeling pretty happy. Afreeca Freecs could consider playing around with the Jarvan, but they know for certain Silas is top. Pick your poison. It's going to be a punishing top laner, that's for sure. You are scared of Darius' ultimate being stolen, but you're not scared of the laning phase. And we finally have our second Darius player in the season. We had Summit playing semi-regularly. Keen going back to the champion he made his name on. Do you remember the destruction that Keen laid back at Rift Rivals where he got 10, 11, 12 kills on the Darius?
And also, if you think even further about the fact that he's going to be up against the Sylas, that was definitely not a flex pick once the LeBlanc was locked in. Your ultimate doesn't do as much damage if you don't have your passive stacked up. Sylas has no way to get that bleed stacked, and therefore you steal the ult, you ain't doing nothing with it. What he's going to be doing is waiting for a Cataclysm to turn up into his lane, and then trying to lock the Darius down like that. I actually love the Darius into Sylas option.
And you know the more simple, scary interaction? How does Sylas win trades? By ending with Kingslayer, by ending with a gap close that heals him. You're in melee range of Mr. Darius, and Mr. Darius doesn't take no nonsense from people getting in melee range from him. A melee abuser and a melee champion that is very creative but unexplored. It's Nuguri versus Keen, and it's pretty close to the matchup we didn't think we would get, but we're pretty happy we received.
Absolutely. Sylas versus Darius is going to be our heavy-hitting top lane matchup between Nuguri and Keen, and oh man, Valentine's Day, we're getting the love from everywhere. Even in the champion selectors, we've got the ultimate pile-in comp here from the Afreeca Freecs with a bit of Darius drizzled on top.
But Darius drizzled on top is more pile-in. That's the fun thing is we're going for one meal type here. This is going to be some just desserts. This is going to be a main course. No fallback pattern. We're just going in as hard as possible.
Yeah, exactly right. Man, the Afreeca Freecs, we expected them to have a fun composition, but it looks like we've got absolutely none of the Frostmancy happening right here. Not really any of the champions on the Rift are going to be abusing that one straight out of the gate, but let's see what happens in the items as we load up. DAMWON and Afreeca fans, still a very full LoL Park here today. We'll see who's going to make their way towards that western side of the conference. Both of these teams still quite a few points away from getting up there. Hanwha Life still on +1, and then the closest to them is DAMWON Gaming, but are 3 points behind, so won't even be able to challenge that 5th position with a victory here, 2-0.
If you're joining us for the first time in Week 4 of the LCK, we are on patch 9.3. Remember, the support items are not hotfixed in Korea, just actually put on the overlay in the bottom left, so no hotfix live today. So plenty of Frostfang hijinks yesterday, and, you know, it was kind of up and down when it came to the effectiveness. We're seeing 4 teams today who haven't played on this patch yet, who have different opinions on balance. There was a Karma ban. There's no Ezreal in this game. So far, things are honest, but that honesty, when it comes to at least the Frostfang purchases, might be short-lived.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And so far, we don't have any, but like you say, it can all change. As Noguri, we're going to check out the rune choices that he's made. Yesterday, we saw Grasp of the Undying. This time, it's going to be the Arcane Comet for the Sylas.
Legends Bloodline for Keen. Interesting choice. On 80 carries, you can understand. It takes a really long time to stack up. Got to play a lot of games because we had the week and a half break here, and I wanted to test some meta stuff, so I played some Sylas, but Legends Bloodline is so much lifesteal. It's 12% lifesteal now at max stacks, which is a huge amount, right? You don't even need the Vamp Scepter. But when it comes to how long it takes to stack, it can take the better part of 20 minutes to stack it up. It's really, really slow if you're not getting kills. So interesting to see the choice there, but it's a stat that you don't normally pick up as Darius unless you get a cheeky death stance at some point. So given that, it's going to be interesting to see if that affects trade patterns as well. Speaking of trade patterns, we do see the Comet chosen by Noguri. This was picked up by Soaz in the debut of on-stage LEC Sylas, and the first time in a major region we had the champion. Wasn't a big fan of it. I'm a big fan of the Grasp, but I trust Nuguri when it comes to aggressive top lane choices, and I also trust that it's going to be a super hard lane against Darius, so I'm very interested to see how Nuguri survives it without falling into a big hole, whether it's deaths, which he is a chief offender in. He has third most deaths of any player in the LCK and the highest of a non-support, but also just as the lane goes on.
Well, I wouldn't have expected anything else. Nuguri likes to have a keystone that's going to do extra damage, and Resolve Tree just doesn't seem like something that he would consider fun. As our Dread was about to face check Canyon, gets the ward down. Canyon does find the Q, but the W shield is going to keep Dread very, very healthy. And who's actually going to win this? It looks like priority is with Yukal in the mid lane. Kenyon's still going to start off this Rift Scuttler, and the Gargoyle's going to rotate his way over. There it is. The steal away not going to happen as Canyon does make it out. An aggressive move here from DWG Gaming to start things off.
Top laners hadn't responded, and even if Darius came up, he of course has to get into apprehend range, so not the highest threat level on this early of the game, so it just ends up being claimed overall. One thing I want to talk about a bit, especially if you're not looking at nameplates, so you joined us late. Spirit not playing for the first time in a long time in this game. Jelly back in the lineup. A lot of the speculation as to why Spirit was playing was around them wanting to play Dread, and the obvious, well, we lost Kuro, we lost Spirit, we lost a lot of stage experience. Where's the shot calling coming from? Seeing Dread up top lane. Thing to consider, very easy to execute team comp from Afreeca, which might benefit a young lineup.
Well, this could also benefit Afreeca as well, as Nogari's trying to get out. Good flash, but can he get the knock-up? Doesn't happen. Dread, he's going to miss it, but it doesn't matter. Just spins around and cuts his head off.
And this could be the start of a lot of pain in the top side. The EQ flash is too late compared to the clean one we saw yesterday in our games, but it doesn't matter. That's the punishment of Keen. They have to take an extra summoner. The flash coming in from Keen, probably more than he wanted to expend, given that Darius is also pretty perilous when it comes to ganks. Both these top laners love to extend. We've compared the Sylas to top lane tank Echo. Well, none of them have flashes. The EQ flash, you must flash earlier if you want to get the knockup.
Yep, we saw it yesterday done at about the most perfect possible time by Clid. Not going to be mirrored here by Dread, but didn't actually matter in the end. Does cost Keen his flash that I believe he wouldn't have had to use.
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
Had that one come through, so yeah.
Completely agree with that one. Again, just talking on that more macro point, super easy to execute comp here. Everyone Afreeca just goes in, right? There's no intricacy, there's no side lanes. You could choose to ward your flanks. If you can see the other 5, you're just thinking about flashing in. That's all you have to do. So given they've lost Spirit and not replaced him with really any experience, the most competitive games on this lineup is probably Keen, right? Keen probably has the most games of anyone in this lineup. An insane thing to consider. Trying to return to this top lane, not an EQ range right now, but Afreeca have gone for easy to execute. And speaking of execution,
yeah, we're going to get the knock-up this time as Keen comes on over. Crippling strikes there. Apprehend pulls him back. And Nogari, where are you going to go, mate? The Kingslayer ain't slaying any kings now. You're back in the death chamber once again. And
there's no tent up top lane for Canyon. He knows that if he gets counter-ganked, Darius puts him in the death chamber as well. And the feeding begins, unfortunately, for Nogari. There's really no other way to play Sylas in the top lane. He doesn't have ranged wave clear. You're maxing W in almost every lane.
I feel like Darius and Sylas both play very similarly, but it's the Darius that's sitting on 2-0 this time around, and the Sylas just has to do what he can.
Exactly.
Going to get the play back onto Canyon here as Jelly not going to throw out the hook just yet. And Yukal going to get Mimic chained there in the mid lane. Has to respect, and flashes out of the way 1v1.
Very respectful flash. Didn't know about Canyon. Here he is.
Yeah, instant follow comes in, but Flag and Drag gets Dread out of there, of course.
Very, very interesting. The Observer also noting that it was a late Frostfang coming in for LeBlanc. Not quite Kleptomancy like Pawn was going yesterday. I actually, given how the game is going, don't mind this choice for one reason. Less pressure to stay in lane, maybe more pressure for the LeBlanc to go help out a friend, because they need 2 people up top side, given the potential for a counter gank from Dread, and they need to bail Sylas out of what should be an increasingly painful lane. You can see Keen, who gets his mercs, gets a nice little pickup here. He's going for a cull and saying, you know, I'm pretty free to do whatever I want. I could build AP here if I had any AP ratios.
Whoa. Nuclear wants his health bar back as Hoyt's going to get the Devour, but got a very easy dragon coming in here. Bottom side of the map is being controlled by DWG Gaming, and Canyon is going to demonstrate that by taking that one down. Showmaker looking to try and stack up this Frostfang as best as possible. And that wave is pushing towards the Galio as well. Every button going to be used on the Gargoyle and not on the minion wave. Now, Aiming and Jelly wanting to replicate what was a pretty good little trade down there.
And we should also, because it's the first time today, talk about the word replicate when it comes to Frostfang. Don't try this at home, guys. Hotfix on the live servers and potentially in other competitive regions. But for this week, you can still take GP10 in the mid lane, get some wards, and Korea's always loved those wards, Atlas. It got us to so many World Championship victories. Wards will be back eventually in the mid lane for Showmaker.
Yep, Showmaker going to be the one doing it. You can see Yukal is stepping away from that particular option as Jelly going to be pulled in with the Fates call. They go for the Tahm Kench as the play does come back immediately. The cleanse does go down as Dread can't find his way in. DWG Gaming find the safety of their turret.
Actually a pretty poor play there. There was really no chance of taking down Flash heal, cleanse Tahm Kench with all summoners up. Doesn't even have to blow the flash, but re-engage.
Yeah, Arrow's going to land on aiming, but he does manage to take the lantern, get out of the way, and the control ward does not stop it.
Yeah, the control ward timing there was off, so not actually able to block it. Uzi somewhere nods in appreciation that perhaps someone would not fully nail that particular denial. I wonder if he'll be playing soon now that Lunar New Year is over.
I mean, that's what I heard.
Traditionally, that's been the way.
Yep. As Keen continues to play very aggressively up towards the top side, has a huge minion wave stacked up. We'll see whether he actually decides to sit underneath the turret and get another turret plate. Already one going down up here on the top side of the map, and it's going to translate into about 1,000 gold being the lead here for Afreeca Freecs.
Very interesting second point in Apprehend put down to try to surprise Nogari with cooldowns. Speaking of surprise.
Yeah, Showmaker actually going to get taunted up. Canyon biding his time and waiting, but doesn't land the Q on the right target and isn't going to go for the kickback onto Dread because Flag and Drag will, of course, always bring you to your flag no matter what you do.
One of the other reasons for that engage bot lane was to blow flashes for the Jarvan ult, Galio 100% kill play to mimic that Camille Galio engage of yore. No flashes down on DAMWON, so right now that's not that guaranteed kill button. Speaking of guaranteed, though, that's a lot of Afreeca members, including Darius, walking up. So the blue buff steal here should be pretty reliable. The vision gives Nuclear a chance to tell his teammates about what's happening, but can they do anything about it?
Well, Dreads is going to be able to grab this one as the hook is going to land. See you later, Silas. And Nogari's going to do Nogari things and continue being the only deaths on his team.
And Nogari did this in the Kesper Cup, that final loss to Griffin in the semifinals. He died 10 times or more on Urgot in a 30-minute game. He is known to really only play for lane and show lane pressure. That's why he takes so many bans. No ult up. No ult is up for Nuclear, we should note there. So smart of aiming to kite away. There's no other way to play this lane, and it's one of those criticisms of Silas. There was no way to play against the Fiora when she hit her Ravenous Hydra power spike in the last game we saw, and now it's another matchup that would do well into Echo. The Darius does very well against the Silas and the play patterns there, and we're just waiting for DAMWON to find a way to get any relevance from Nogari.
Well, it's not happening anytime soon, Papa, and they're going to have to look elsewhere to try and carry them through what is a pretty nightmare early game. Almost 2,000 gold is going to be the lead after that kill does come in. The scary part is that we know what Darius can do. We play a lot in Korean solo queue where Darius still reigns supreme, absolutely.
But they don't know what the Chaos solo queue summoner players. I always talk about the Ghost Flash Darius.
Oh, baby.
Every ELO range, doesn't matter if you're in bronze or diamond, they're taking Ghost Flash. Pro play, you have different responsibilities, sadly, but Ghost Flash Darius is the new Shaco when it comes to Korean champions. I feel like it went Shaco to every game Lee Sin, every meta to Darius.
Yep. And there's also a few options, but Trinity Force is the most dominant first choice here. I'd expect Keen to go towards that, but Black Cleaver is, of course, an option if he would like.
You almost never see anything other than Trinity Force in pro play since the last time Darius was in meta, which was, late last year.
Yep.
As oopsie. Spirit in the back, because I wouldn't have done that, coach. Sub me in. A zoning stasis usage by the Thresh there. I don't know why he was zoning. They weren't anywhere near.
It's Jelly demonstrating that he is the golden boy.
You see Trinity Force purely because the play pattern in teamfight is ult-auto, so you're getting a Trinity Force auto every time to have a bit more teamfight impact rather than Black Cleaver. So that is the big reason we see Trinity Force every time.
Yep.
Seeing a lot of zoning here. Showmaker was at around 36 CS previously. He is CSing, you'll notice, to some degree, as his quest is now cashed in. So he's slowed
very early, actually.
I think he had 36 CS, then went for the quest, and then around 10 minutes had the cash in. So interesting to see those timings, and the hurt onto Agalio is always there.
Well, Nogari gonna have to be careful here as he's just throwing chains around, doing the best not to destroy this minion wave, because he needs to sit under his turret for as long as possible. Another turret plate does go down in favor of Kane, and he's going to go back home. See how close to the Trinity Force he actually is.
And we're going to be really worried if we see less than a 20 CS difference between a LeBlanc who cashed in a quest and will continue to have two forms of gold income, and a Galio who was just trying to CS. Galio's laning phase, of course, toned down many times, but Afreeca Freecs, what do? They initiate, they hard engage on one. They're just looking for someone to walk up, but right now everyone's saying, we'd like an Infernal, but we know we have a very short leash to work with.
Well, UCAL does have that taunt available, but they're standing on this ward. I would have expected that one to be swept out as the control ward does go down. Chains land onto UCAL, but he's not too worried about it at this stage. Jelly, his Lantern is going to go wanting.
I assume that UCAL channeled his taunt there just to see if anyone walked forwards or back to try to work out if a ward was for certain there. got the confirmation, but that was also a little bit odd.
Yeah.
Zooming in on the laning phase, bot lane CS for CS, nothing to speak of. Darius actually opening up a farm bounty because of the fact that the enemy mid laner went Frostfang. The average income of the gold earners, i.e. not the support, is much lower than the average income. So Darius is actually going to open up a pretty big bounty just because of that decision from LeBlanc.
Yeah, Frostmancy does weird things for bounties, but as you can see, taking him down is going to be a big one. But 2-0-1 against a 0-3-0 lane opponent, you can imagine that he'd be getting pretty notorious here for the Afreeca Freecs.
Nuguri walks back. He really has very little he can do. Do notice that in spite of what we were saying, he maxed Q. He gave up on trying to take Kingslayer trades, which I think was the right choice. After dying twice, it was like, well,
let's clear a minion wave a little bit better, yeah.
Q has had a little tweaks and some buffs, but still isn't really range wave clear. We compare the champion to Echo a lot, and I think Echo Q is definitely more reliable.
Yeah.
On the wave clear front, DWG's trying to, with some resets, take a very against the tone of the game Drake. This would be super risky if they didn't know about backtimers. In this case, they do. They've swept out Vision. And against the run of play, they actually steal away a Drake.
It's a big steal as well. Taking the Infernal is a huge deal. Second one will be coming up in 5 minutes' time, but that is after already getting that first Ocean Drake very early in this game. And any sort of advantage, any sort of way to get Nuguri back into this lane and to get DWG Gaming to any sort of parity is going to be important.
The only kind of tempering we can say, because Inferno is won very well by both these teams. Damage dealers in every lane except for supports. The only tempering you can say is there a percentage more damage where if DWG run at Afreeca Freecs, they teamfight them better? The answer might be no. The answer feels like maybe. But it's definitely not. You don't jump to say yes because we already mentioned more reliable engage, a Darius to punish, and almost the entire lineup here. It might be close to an acceptable loss, but given how well DWG wear the Inferno, it is actually DWG being very smart macro-wise at playing around back timings, something that DWG have kind of started to deceive on, especially with Nuguri's penchant to begin.
Yeah, I actually really like it. After we come back from the Lunar New Year break, seeing DWG Gaming playing with a little bit more finesse, maybe apart from what's happening on the top side of the map.
25 CS difference, so we're going to say that LeBlanc is probably significantly ahead here. Hopefully we'll get the gold numbers shown at some point in the near future, but
looks to be only getting worse for UCal as well, as he's getting shoved underneath his turret over and over again.
And that's Galio. Galio has to build for, doesn't get to build for lane anymore, so Proto Belt, Sorcerer's Shoes. It's no longer Abyssal Mask tank Galio.
Yeah.
It's very much AP, so doesn't get any better at shrugging off damage, and thankfully the observer's listening. It's a 400 gold lead now, and remember, he did not CS for an extended period of time.
And
this
also he missed out on the kill that UCal picked up earlier on.
And now he kills 6 out of 6 minions and gets 45 damage from 3 auto attacks or some harassment. So double gold generation means that gold lead should definitely increase outside of Afreeca Freecs, getting some of those engagements and fighting over something like a Drake or a Rift Herald, a good way to get a fight.
Yeah, Shelly's going to be here, and UCal has the heroic entrance available. Won't actually have to use it. He's already here. Abyssal Voyage to come on over. Taunt doesn't find any joy as the Q is going to land, but the Gargoyle is not the target that they wanted as Nuguri picks up the ult and throws in the heroic entrance there as well. UCal immediately knocked up and has to flash to get out of the way, but Nuguri has to go golden to keep himself alive. Dread diving on forward. There's the hero's entrance coming in for Afreeca Freecs. This time it's Showmaker darting in and around this fight, and UCal eventually does fall down. Dread gets the tribute, can make his way back in, but decides he doesn't want to as the Ash is popping off and aiming. Cannot do enough. Nuguri with the god-tier team fight.
Absolutely true, and also super well played by Showmaker to start it. We saw Galio ult look like a visual bug, but no, that was the stolen Galio ult at the start coming from Nuguri. Well played, and DWG Gaming rewrite the books and steal away a team fight.
And what were we talking about yesterday? This is the insane thing. The reason why I say Nuguri won the team fight is that he's 0-3-0 and used Silas for a team fight victory.
But watch this, Showmaker just outside of the range, the ult stolen that we noted, goes in and you see a Galio ult and you look at Galio, that's what you're supposed to do, but no, it's all about the Wombo engage stolen by DWG Gaming. And from here, Keen is already half health. He never even uses his ultimate in this fight, so no resetting. And like you say, Nuguri deserves that respect because Keen is set up to succeed. He's got the good start.
Yeah.
Nuguri's just an ult, really, but it's the right ult. It's the right timing, and it's DWG's time to shine.
Nuclear also just able to free hit because so much shenanigans happening around him and never actually got any of that aggro. DAMWON Gaming have been pretty fantastic when it comes to team fighting in the past, but that was something else.
And I think people looked at this enemy comp and they said, oh, the ults here not so sure. Jarvan pretty good. Thresh pretty good because the box has an AP ratio. At this point, it's WTF2 Gallios, you have to say, because the Galio ult is the one that allows them to try to fight against a comp that's very punishing against Engage. They're Engagers themselves. And if you can win Engage versus Engage, there's no backup play patterns. That's what happens when you go a comp like Afreeca's. You can't just decide to Siege Atlas. You can only hard engage.
And I actually really do like being able to pick up that Hero's Entrance if you want to. The box also could be a very interesting one if Nuguri wants to throw that one into the mix as well. But just the way that they controlled that team fight and the way they played around. Such incredible hard engage coming in for the Afreeca Freecs. Yes, Afreeca botched that one up, but you have to hand it to DAMWON to be able to just finesse a team fight like that.
Dread. Amusingly visual bugging at the top.
Yeah.
I like how visual bugging is becoming an adjective now. It's a normal thing.
Maybe that'll get into the Oxford Dictionary soon.
You can always tell if someone's a seasoned LCK viewer or not when they question mark when there's a visual bug. We're ready for it. We're normal. We're used to it.
Exactly right. Is Dread. Oh. He's not used to that.
No, he doesn't want to get used to that. Showmaker's not done. Snaps back.
Yeah, going to pop on over. Reset on the blue buff, but DAMWON can grab that one if they want to. Back is going to come in, and we have to point out that Dread did manage to pick up the Rift Herald. So can throw that down. It's still sitting on 0-0-5 on the Jarvan. The early game certainly was good. And 0-3-4 now for Nuguri on the top side of the map. And not much of a CS gap between the two.
And a bounty was cashed in on the side of
Nuclear
DAMWON.
actually
I was about to say, I believe he was. And he also has a big bounty of his own. His summoners are down, and Afreeca like fighting. How hard we going?
Yeah,
it's pretty hard.
Teleport's going to come in, but Dread has to go golden in order to keep himself alive. That means that is going to be one of the ultimates not there. Now he's even dead. It's Keen in the front line, and that's not where he wants to be. Takes the Lantern in order to get out, and Yukal might just be the sacrificial lamb. Grabs one off the back end as the Catfish is going to bite the dust, but Afreeca Freecs still running for the hills.
Exactly, another team fight when they're taking their own comp and using against them the quintessential Sylas move. In this particular game, the first Infernal, that was a pickpocket. The second Infernal is well deserved. And DWG Gaming, they're looking like they're ready for a fight, Atlas.
Yeah, they turn everything around. I don't know how the Afreeca Freecs, with a team comp like this, are failing when it comes to just the team fights. Their laning phase looked great, but it's the team fights that they've fallen over. And that's just not what you'd expect with this particular lineup of champions.
But is this what we expect with this particular lineup of players? Because remember, Spirit is not there. Keen, very young player when he debuted in the second round robin of 2017 summer, is their most experienced player. Shot calling is something that Spirit could be hypothesized to be bringing when he was in the lineup. He's no longer there. Jelly might have been around the squad, but it's just not the same, Atlas. And this is supposed to be easy to execute. Just kind of press your R buttons and make it work. It doesn't look that easy to execute with how Afreeca have played it out, and DWG, to their credit, should be rewarded for having those slight next levels that are making Afreeca look a bit feeble.
Yeah. And also, you might have looked at Nuguri and said, oh, why did he take the ultimate from the Darius? If you manage to get a kill with the reset, yes, it won't do as much damage for that one, but then with every auto attack, you're stacking up a Darius passive on the remainder of the team, and you can get those resets at that point. It's not as good in a 1v1, but in a team fight, there's certainly a reason to pick that one up.
And the guillotine going down on Afreeca Freecs is really being swung both metaphorically and literally, because you can't lose team fights to team fight comp. You don't have anything else. So Afreeca Freecs cannot afford to lose even one more team fight. They push up here. He's Dread. He's almost dead already.
He dives on forward. The Hero's Entrance does eventually come on down, but they do have the Grey Health. They've got the Devour. Nuclear will get played back, but is it actually creating enough distance? As Keen not going to get the ultimate, as Nuclear is able to flash out of the way and go golden. Now the gap is going to be closed here as Aiming still dancing around this fight, but Nuguri picks up the kill on the Gargoyle. DWG Gaming trying to get what they can as Keen's diving in there, but Aiming is still alive. Well, not for long, as there's the double distort, and Showmaker grabs that kill.
Showmaker was on the outside for a long time, but his team wasn't getting routed as he waited for his moment, and when he chose his moment, he made sure that it'd be all about him. A bounty goes down on Ash, but a bounty being brought up onto Showmaker. Two members alive means that mid lane turret starts to go down. Freaka Freecs, they're kind of falling apart at the seams, Atlas, and it doesn't seem like there's any ELO heaven at the end of this game.
And we were asking, how the heck is Noguri going to get back into this game? Well, Papa Smithy, he's back in the game. It's already happened. He's 3-4-6 now. And remember, he was 0-3-0 at the start of this one, so we check out what happened.
Is poked out by a Mimic Distortion, goes in anyway because they know Flash is down on Ashe, or at least they think they'll get the engage down. They do. Nuclear continues to fight. Eventually does go down through stasis, but Showmaker spends a lot of this waiting for his moments, and it ends up being a pretty inspired choice because Canyon can fight with the rest of the lineup for a while. The reset doesn't kill Canyon. Auto, Trinity Force proc does most of the health bar, but not enough to actually kill him. Stasis still up, outfought in the end by DAMWON, but not by a lot.
Yeah, and neither of the Darius ults actually did any damage. The Noxian Guillotine was just a little bit too far away from Noguri in order to get that reset. Does manage to get the kill onto UCal, but is sacrificed in the end, and things can go very, very differently if that reset is actually achieved from either of these ultimates on each side.
We got a lot of resets because Ren sets are a thing too,
yeah,
right?
Dude.
For the Callista herself has her 2 core items. Notice the last fight was one of those stasis fiestas. Stopwatches are broken. Everyone's fake Rolex has been taken by the cops.
Yeah,
and now
exactly.
There is only 1 Rolex left on Noguri, and no one else has a stopwatch. So if this Darius starts swinging, I think it could potentially be to a large benefit.
Yeah, the question is which Darius is going to be swinging, because we saw Noguri picking that one up pretty nicely as he got that kill onto UCal, just a hair's breadth away from resetting his way all over the team fight. Will he be picking that one up yet again, is the question. You said 2 core items coming in for aiming. Well, they're also there for nuclear, but he's got a whole bunch of extra damage on top of that as well, building towards his Infinity Edge.
And remember the 1-week meta. Almost equals CS. Basically equals
goodness.
CS, and that quest has gotten so much gold. I guess about 1,300 gold probably at this point for Showmaker. So that's a pretty nice start. Here's an ult.
Yeah, arrow's going to land onto Canyon, and he went for the Hex Drinker. He didn't go for the QSS, and he's just straight up dead. Nuclear just delivered that kill as Noguri wants to come in and continue this fight. Dread going to have his ultimate pulled away from him. Cataclysm available for Noguri, who is going to go golden because he has that Zhonya's still available to himself. Chains landed, and UCal is once again hitting the Death Chamber.
And that Nuclear ultimate was on exactly the man he needed. Summoners up. No problem. Aiming goes down, and not even a Galio ult to try to save him, and with no resist, it wouldn't have been enough. Nuclear's been looking for his one true pairing. He's been a bit indifferent on AD carry this season. Maybe the Ashe, with Ashe very strong in the meta right now, might be a big thing to help Canyon find his man in the early game, and Nuclear start the fights, which is all they need.
Yeah, 6,000 gold is now the lead, and the Baron has been started up. It is down very, very low, but Dread is going to pull his way forward. They do know that he's around here, and Keen is going to get over that well, but Dread just has no health, and Noguri's going to finish that one off. One of the chains isn't going to hit there, and the Baron, it falls, and DWG Gaming take everything they want.
Yoink, says Noguri. I'll have a Cataclysm now, and goes to his death as Prince Jarvan IV. We're going to watch the replay of how it started. This is all about an Ashe arrow. The Midas touch from Nuclear to get that kick as well from Canyon guarantees it. There's just no peeling an engage like that. And just too far up is aiming. Player who himself has been in and out of the lineup. It really does feel a bit mishmash on the side of Afreeca Freecs, and even a week and a half hasn't taken away some of the rustiness of a lineup that hasn't had a lot of stage time to gel.
Yeah, exactly right. Feels like DWG Gaming have really hit the practice room hard and made sure that these mid games have been tidied up, because that early game was not exactly what they wanted. Bottom side of the map did go well for them, but Noguri got completely pummeled. But now he's sitting on 4-4-7. He's got a Leandri's Torment at a Proto Belt, 10 stacks on his Dark Seal somehow. It's a very different game to what I was expecting after the early game.
Let's have some surface level analysis of DWG Gaming this game. Noguri got ultra camped.
And it's done more damage than Keen.
Noguri got ultra camped, and then it looks like the team will win. How many times have we said that this season?
Yeah, that's a good point.
0 times. Did that happen at Kesper Cup? No. It is very significant that DWG Gaming have been able to salvage and also maintain their mental, because they have definitely been a team that has looked like and worn losses. They've definitely taken beatings and then kind of rolled over or not been able to fight back like some of our veteran squads can. So very important to note that in a game where Noguri looked like he might be zombie pushing for the majority of this game and just giving free kills to Keen, that has not happened.
Yeah. Well, we'll see whether they can close this one out. It is looking like the answer is yes, double Infernal. Almost a 10,000 gold lead, but Fat Lady still hasn't started singing just yet, as the Afreeca Freecs still looking to defend their base. Inhibitor turrets still available, and they still have pretty terrifying team composition if they can get it on their terms.
You get that first Darius ult, and anything can happen, Atlas. So we'll wait and see what happens.
Yeah, who gets the reset? Is it aiming or is it going to be Keen? And just needs to be one of them, and things could go catastrophically wrong here for DAMWON, but they're just playing them around the map, and Dread is just so far behind on this Jarvan.
Extra variable, watch for what ult Noguri steals, if it's a pre-steal or if it's a team fight steal. Because remember, level 16, you get that first ult, you use it. We're not talking about much cooldown reduction required to have pretty low cooldowns. That's already aiming.
Yeah, Amy's got hit by another one, and Nuclear just picks it up. Jelly flies on forward, but that Fate Skull is not the Fate that you wanted. Flashes over the wall of the box and picks up the double, and now the Afreeca Freecs are just flying towards a quadra kill for the Ashe. Dread gets onto the fountain, and DWG Gaming say, if you're not going to give me the Penta, then I'm just going to end the game.
Nuclear does his best prey impression, brings back the frontline Ashe, and it works so well.
Kane, what was that? We're looking for the quadra, we don't get it. It's going to be Silas that denies that kill, and it's just a little flag that comes down from Prince Jarvan, and the Nexus explodes.
But it's not a little result for two teams short.